Welcome back, you crazy gun nuts. So I've done a few videos on the Glock 21 and I've done a few videos on the Glock 30, and I've also had quite a few questions on if I were to choose one or the other, if I couldn't buy the Glock 21 and the Glock 30, which one would I buy? So I want to address that in today's video. We're not going to do any shooting. I'm not going to show a shooting comparison between the two. The Glock 30 definitely does have a little bit more felt recoil than the Glock 21 does, and if you want to watch that, I have other videos on my channel where I have went in depth on both the 30 and the 21, Gen 4 and Gen 5 for the 21. Now I've got the Glock 21 right here. This is the Gen 5. It has a Hollow Sun red dot, Hollow Sun flashlight. It has suppressor height sights on it, and I can't remember what brand it is. I think it might be a Mariglow. Not 100% sure. But this gun is not loaded, not chambered. It's safe. Same with this. Here's a Glock 30. I've got the TLR7 Streamlight on it, and it's hard to pull back. Not loaded, not chambered. Doesn't have a red follower. Yeah, not loaded or chambered. Now the Glock 30 I have, it does have the 9-round magazine in it. When you buy these, they have a 10-round magazine, which sticks out of the bottom a little bit, and also gives you a little bit more room to put your pinky on, because like this, I don't have any room for my pinky, so when I shoot this, you do notice a little bit more recoil with a 9-round magazine in it. And like I said, with the 30-round, I wish it was 30-round. With the 10-round mag, it hangs at the bottom, gives you a little bit more purchase on the gun. Alright, first we'll talk about the advantages and disadvantages of both. The Glock 30, it does have a shorter sight radius, so you might not be able to make a better shot at distance. And it's got a shorter grip, so it's easier or a little bit harder to hang on to. But also, it's a lot more concealable. It's the exact same width as the Glock 21. As you can see here, they're both the same width, but this is quite a bit shorter. As you can see there, I'll go ahead and put it back up. It's, you know, a good inch shorter than the other one, and also put them back to back there, a little bit easier for you to see it. It's a little over an inch longer, especially with a magazine hanging out of the bottom of it. Now when you run this 9-round magazine in the 30, which it does not come with, the Glock 30 does not ship with a 9-round magazine. They ship with 3 10-round magazines, so I had to buy this separately. It's about, I think they're 30-ish if you go buy them in a store new. But it does fit fairly flush with the back strap. And these also, they come in different size back straps, both of them do. I prefer to run just the way they come without a back strap. The grip is already chunky enough as it is, and this is pretty much a chode of a grip to hang on to, so making it, you know, larger in diameter to me doesn't make any sense. Now when it comes to light options, you have more options, I believe, to look aesthetically pleasing on the 21, because you can have a light that sticks out a little bit farther, that's not going to be hanging out very far off the end of it, like if you were to have on the 30. If I were to switch lights, it'd be hanging out to here, and it could really interfere with whatever holster that you're trying to run with these. And I've also had people ask which holsters I run with both of these guns. When I carry the 30, I carry this in a sticky holster, and I carry it in my front left pocket. I shoot left-handed, so that's where my gun goes, and I can't carry this in a lot of clothing. Usually just like if I'm wearing 511 pants or jeans or whatever, I can carry somewhat comfortably with this, but it's not a very comfortable gun to carry in your pocket. It's kind of heavy, it's wide, and it definitely prints a lot. So like I said, I use a sticky holster. I got it, went ahead and grabbed it. But I did take the sticky holster and cut the threading that was in it. This is the LG2, and it fits really good inside of the LG2. And being that this does stick out, it prints a little bit less as a gun would, you know, if you just have like a pistol in your pocket, which I think would be stupid, because I like to carry chambered. I definitely would not carry a Glock without a holster. But these sticky holsters do a really good job of covering up the trigger. I've never had an issue. I've been carrying sticky holsters for a very long time. and I usually carry a Glock 43 in a sticky holster, and that's actually what I have on me right now. So comparing a Glock 43 to a Glock 30, there's a huge difference. Like, to see the difference between, you know, the 30, like here's a 30, and here's the Glock 42. This is a 380. Like I say, I have the 43 in my pocket, but there's a huge difference in width, a huge difference in length and weight. The 30 just weighs a lot. And again, I got it in a sticky holster. That's what my 42 rides in. That's what my 43 rides in also, which is, you know, I got a bunch of these sticky holsters. They seem to work really good for some subcompact guns. As for the 21, I have this Vetter holster, which I really don't care for. I did have to modify it because I put a red dot on it. I had to trim the top of it. It's not the greatest job, but it does work. It did not work with the Streamlight. I bought this, and they didn't have an option for a Streamlight TLR1, and they only had the option for the Surefire X300. And at the time, I had the Streamlight on my 21. It was the Gen 4 that I bought this for. So I had to open the holster up a little bit, use different screws, but it fits in there very well, covers up the trigger. This is an outside the waistband holster. I've actually never carried my 21 in public. Like, I've taken it with me and left it, you know, in a bag or something, or in my glove box. I'm just running, you know, across town or having to go to a bigger town. I put this in the car. That way I have more of a backup than just my 43 in my pocket. But I did, like I said, I had a trim for the Holosun on here, and it does work with the Holosun Light, but then again, I did have to do I put wider spacers in it and longer screws. So I would not recommend getting this for this gun unless, for whatever reason, now they do have a option for a Streamlight TLR1, because I ended up taking my TLR1 off of this just because I like that Holosun a little bit better. It was a little bit thinner than the TLR1, and it seems to work really good. It's rechargeable, and I can also change the batteries out of the front, and it takes CR123 batteries, so if this battery does die, I can just swap it out with the CR123s. But this, for the longest time, lived by my bedside. This was my bedside gun for a long time. I've probably got 800 rounds through this gun, and it's starting to show the wear, but you can see the barrel's getting wore pretty good. The top of the barrel here is getting quite a bit of wear on it. But I've shot this thoroughly. I really enjoy this gun, and it was my favorite 45 until I ended up buying the FNX 45 with a threaded barrel, the tactical model. And this has actually been sitting in the safe downstairs ever since, because I run my can on it, and this has become a bit irrelevant. But I still enjoy shooting it. I took it out the other day to shoot it just to stay fresh on it. But if it came down to a situation where I could only have one of the two guns, I would definitely have to choose the Glock 21. And I'm not saying the Glock 30 is not a viable option, because it's a very good option. A lot of it all depends on who you are and where you live and how you're going to carry it. If I'm carrying my Glock 21, it's because things got bad, and I need something that's, you know, got more capacity than my 43 has, which I got a 19 and a 45. I got several 19s. I got a bunch of 9mm. But me personally, I just love 45 ACP. It has nothing to do with it. I don't think it's any better or any worse than 9mm. You lose capacity with a 45 ACP. I just enjoy shooting 45 ACP. It's one of my favorite rounds. And I've got quite a few 45 ACP guns, and I've done a lot of reviews on 45 ACP on my channel. But that being said, the Glock 30 is not a bad choice at all. The Glock 21 is still, this has got to be a very close second for my favorite 45 handgun. The FNX just blows it out of the water, and I might do a comparison between the two, and a lot of people are going to say that it's not a fair comparison because of the price, but the FNX does come with sights, and I don't know, I'm not going to get into that right now. I might do a comparison on it, because I think they are in the same category once you get the Glock 21 dressed up as well as the FNX 45 tactical guns. So yeah, we might do one of those in the future just to show a comparison. But you get capacity, you get better capacity with the 21, which you can run the Glock 21 magazines in the 30. Go ahead and drop that out. It just hangs out of the bottom a little bit. And they got those X-grip things, which I don't care for. But if you want to run one of those, you can. And this, basically, you got the capacity of a Glock 21 in a shorter, smaller package. Now with the Gen 5, as of the filming of this video, Glock does not offer an MOS option for the Glock 30, only for the Glock 21. And I know a lot of people prefer to have their slide milled, and I think if I was to do another MOS anything, it would be, I would just send it off and have it milled, as opposed to having to use a plate and like 4 screws to hold on an optic. But the triggers on both guns are about the same. Like I said, the capacity could be equal if you were to run the Glock 21 mag and the 30. But as far as carrying the guns, if things did get bad and I did have to carry a gun, I would much rather carry this Glock 21 with 13 rounds in it and a full-size grip that my fingers don't come off of. And it's got a red dot. It's got a brighter flashlight. It's just got, to me, the Glock 21 is a dual gun, except I can't suppress it because I don't have a barrel for it yet. And I think there's only one company making threaded barrels for the Glock 21 Gen 5s. And they got like a 6-week lead time on it. I just don't really want to wait that long, so I'm going to wait till they're a little more available. Then I'll suppress this and see how good it does compared to the F&X. But the F&X suppresses phenomenally. But yeah, the triggers are about the same on them. They got they basically have the exact same trigger. It's the exact same gun, just smaller, more compact. But saying I'd rather have the 21 over the 30 is not a knock to the 30 at all. And it's going to be all up to personal preference, whether you want to carry a larger handgun or a smaller handgun. For a nightstand gun, I believe that the Glock 21 is very hard to beat. You get 45, I think, has less penetration than 9mm, and that's why I like 45 in the house. I carry a 9mm when I'm out, but sometimes I'll take my 45s with me, but usually for home defense, I use a hollow point 45, just because I know it's going to penetrate less than a hollow point 9mm, and that's all depending on the ammo, which I reload for all my self-defense rounds. But that's not a knock saying 45 is a bad self-defense round for a home. I just prefer, this is, again, it's my personal preference. This is not based upon any, studies or whatnot. This is just based on my personal opinion, knowing that 45 ACP doesn't usually penetrate as well as 9. And I know there's going to be people who argue that, but that's not what this is about. I made this video to show the difference between the 30 and the 21, which I love both of them. And since we still have a Second Amendment in this country, I can own both of these, and it's not either or. So if you can afford to buy both, go ahead and buy both. They're both great guns. But if you can only afford to buy one, I would buy the Glock 21 first. And if you wanted the backup, get the Glock 30. And again, this is all just my personal preference. This is not based upon any type of study or anybody else's opinion. This is just my opinion, and I do like 45s, and these are my favorite Glock 45s. I think they're the only Glock 45s. Well, no, they have the 41 also. But let me know in the comments which one you chose. Did you choose the Glock 21 or the Glock 30 for your first Glock 45? Again, like I say, it's all personal preference. I'm not trying to push either one of them on anybody, except for my personal preferences. I think the 21 is a better fit for what I need it for. And as always, thank you guys for watching. Stay safe. Let's take back our Second Amendment.